All right, so let's take a look at Knowledge Check 2.5.3. So the first question was, does Help Start provide a link to an Introduction to R manual? Let's go ahead and type this in our console. And when we run this function, basically it brings up this help file that actually provides a bunch of different information. We have several what they call manuals. Think of these as like tutorials. There's an introduction to R, which that was the main question here. Does it provide a link to an introduction to R manual? Yes, it does, but it also provides links to many other things that are worth kind of poking around. So in your free time, this is actually a great place to kind of take a look at some different things that are available, different types of material. And the introduction to R is actually it's a pretty detailed report. So it's probably not something you want to jump into right away at first. But I would say maybe once you've gone through a few different weeks of this class, or even towards the end of this class, this would be a great thing to just kind of dive into and read through. And there's a lot of great information here. All right. The next question was, does R's mode function compute the statistical mode? Right. So the statistical mode, if you recall, is basically the most common observation, the most common value that we find in a series of values. So let's see if that's actually what R's mode does. And recall that if we do question mark and then the function that we're interested in looking into, it will provide some help information. So let's run question mark mode. And here we see the storage mode of an object. Right? So it says get or set the mode, a kind of type, or the storage mode of an R object. Right? And if you want to read into some more details, you can get more into what this mode is actually doing. But at the end of the day, it is not computing the statistical mode. It's quite interesting because R is designed to be a statistical programming language. But if you want to compute the mode, there is no mode function. There's other packages that provide that capability, but don't go to the built-in mode function thinking that you're going to get the mode of a series of values. All right, the last thing the knowledge check had you do was review at least 5 Stack Overflow questions about R. Now, in the resources, I provide a link that will take you to this page right here. And this actually provides a whole bunch of R questions. And what it does here at Stack Overflow is it basically ranks these questions from the most popular or the highest number of votes. So if you haven't heard of Stack Overflow before, basically Stack Overflow is a place where people that are doing some kind of programming or coding can go in, write a question about how do I do this with this language, or I've got an error, can somebody help me out? And then anyone can go in and try to answer. And the beautiful thing about this is vast majority of the errors you guys run into, especially initially, are very common. And you will likely find the solutions to get around your error by looking at Stack Overflow. But another great thing about Stack Overflow is if you start to look at some of these questions and the answers that are provided, you'll notice that the questions are very well written and the answers are also very well written. And just reading through these examples provides you just great examples of how you should think about asking questions around whether it's your programming or your analytic process that you have a question around, or if you're helping somebody else, like how can you answer their problem or question in a very succinct, direct way. So I would highly recommend just kind of poke around at some of these highly voted, highly ranked questions on R. And as we go through this course, you're likely going to be using Stack Overflow a lot when you run into problems and you're just trying to get around the errors that may be popping up.